Hey everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Andres, and I'm recording this video because tomorrow we're celebrating 4th of July, it's 2020, and I wanted to record something special about how my family and I came to live in the United States. And I was gonna do something like this during Memorial Day, but for some reason I didn't do it. I went ahead and then do something else, and I totally forgot about this. But I wanted to record this just not for you guys, but for my kids, for my daughter, for my son to watch it maybe like 15, 20 years from now, and at least understand where their family comes from and uh, who I was. So back in 1999, my family and I moved to United States. Uh, I was 20 years old, almost 21 years old when that happened. The way we actually did it, and then the reason why we did it, was that my family thought that the United States was a good place to raise a family, to live, to pursue, a good way of living. And I was already out of college. I believe my sister was either a sophomore or a freshman, or I think something like that in high school. And so what happened was my parents applied to something that was called a lottery of visas back then. And what they would do, the embassy will draw names or family names out of, I don't know, a pool of names, and and then see which one will qualify to actually uh, apply and then go through the whole process, the whole application to live here in the United States. And I believe that was at the end of 1997 when that happened. And there was one day when we actually got something on the mail uh, saying you have actually won the lottery of visas, and then you're capable now to start the process and the whole application process. And I remember, clearly remember this, driving in Lima, and my parents in the front seats on our car, and then me and my sister in the back. And I would never forget that my dad kind of didn't want to come here, and my mom so wanted to come. And then they were like, arguing, not arguing, but like, talking about, should we make this move or not, because they had their jobs and all that. But I didn't have a job, and I was out of college already. And and then they turned around, and then my dad asked me, "Do you want to move?" And I was like, "Yes, I want to move. I still want to move over there." And my mom, of course, wanted to move, and my dad, yeah, he was like, "Okay." But then they turned on my sister, and then my sister was like, "I don't care about it," right? Kind of like that. Um, so she was like, she was very young, so she was like, "I don't care if I'm stay here or not." But anyway, um, they came to the conclusion that they at least should pursue the application process and see if it will go through. So the whole thing lasted a little more than a year, I believe, almost 2 years. And the process was very complicated, very complex, where we have to send paperwork and whatnot, and spend, I believe, thousands of dollars just trying to get the application, see if you will get approved. And until the day that they called us up into the embassy, or from the embassy, saying, "Hey, you're being approved, and then you're excited to come this day." And it was 2 weeks, I believe, or 3 weeks before my birthday, and I was turning 21. And when that day came, my parents had to make the decision, made the choice to either move right away, because if I would turn 21 before that day, then I would have lost my citizenship or my residency at that point. So my parents decided that it was a good thing for me to come with my dad, and within 1 week, we packed our bags and moved into. We actually flew into the United States, and um, we started living with one of my aunts uh, for about 3, 4 months, I believe, until was 3, 4 months, maybe like 2, 3 months, and like 4 months later, my sister and my mom moved too, and that was April 1999 when that happened. And it's been 21 years now, a little more than that, and it's crazy because I remember my first impressions of the United States were, it was better than expected. Things were so nice, everything was so clean. People actually not only respected each other a lot, but they cared for each other a lot. And one of my biggest dreams was to go to New York and living in New Jersey. I remember my first or my second paycheck. One of the things that I did was I took the train from New Jersey all the way to New York, and I went by myself. I got lost in New York, back big time, and um, but anyway, that was a big deal for me because being on a huge city like New York and being able to experience everything that I've been seeing in movies for such a long time, and now, it was an experience. It was a good experience. It was a good impression. The thing that was the most hard at all of all things was leaving family behind, and not only that, friends, family, culture, and all of that, but also learning a new language, right? I knew a little bit of English, but I was not fluent at all. I would probably would not be able to hold a conversation. I would understand people, but that was it. And I remember one of my first jobs. I think I got it like a week right after I landed here. We landed here, and I started working on a Chinese uh, restaurant on a food court in Bridgewater, New Jersey. And I remember making 515, 525 an hour, working like crazy hours, like 60, 70 hours a week. And here I am, an immigrant from Peru, holding a bachelor's degree in computers. However, I'm not able to even exercise or like work on my field. And I didn't care about it. As long as I had a job, I was happy. uh, I actually could buy whatever I wanted. And then sure enough, like after 4 months, my dad and I were actually made enough money to move into our own apartment. And once my mom, my sister moved, that was great. The four of us were together, and about 2.5 years later, I met my wife, and being married for, I believe, a little more than 17 years now. So it's been, or 16 years now. So it's been great. It's been awesome. But I wanted to share that with you guys. That the United States it's a great country. Even though I was born and raised in Peru. And I hold that all of that in high value. I also now, as a citizen of the United States, I hold my citizenship with pride. I love this country. My kids were born here. This is where I met my wife. This is where I met awesome people that love me too. And then you might think, there is a little opposition for someone like me, being of a brown color, or with this accent. But I tell you that it was actually Americans that encouraged me to keep going. It was them that taught me the language. It was them that taught me the culture. It was them that invited me over their houses, and served me food. When I was in New Jersey, both of my neighbors were white, and they were awesome. I mean, they still are awesome people around there in Bamberg, New Jersey. And um, so all of that I tell you because in the way that we live right now, or in the state that we live right now, in current events, it seems like um, the whole country is trying to destroy itself. What makes this country beautiful is the people that lives in it, and then the culture that we have. This is the only place where you will find people from all over the world, and and then just living the way they live, right? So one of the things that makes me love the U.S. a lot is just its culture, its people, and the way of living, right? And you might, and I just talked to my daughter about this. What makes us have what we have right now? And I'm holding in my hands right now. You know, this is what makes us who we are, right? I didn't come from Peru to live the same way I was living over there. I came to actually embrace what this country was all about from back to 1776, right? And up to this day. So I'm very encouraged to say that I love freedom. I love I love the way we live, the liberty that we have here, and I love that this is the place where you are able to pursue happiness all the way, all the way to the end. That there's no limitations for anyone, right? As I said, back then I was just working on a food court. I remember serving. Actually, I was in the kitchens cooking Chinese food, and then They moved me to the front to serve Chinese food right after that. And I remember working at Everything Yogurt, serving yogurts, frozen yogurt, and some of you I might even have them as friends in Facebook. Then I moved up to the Gap, working in the back, just unpacking merchandise, clothes, cleaning floors, just whatever I had to do back then. And then I moved to Bloomingdale's after that, fixing mannequins, fixing clothes, moving into like the shoe department, and then just cleaning up the back room, uh, just stuff like that. I remember that with a lot of happiness because that's what made me who I am right now. And then finally, after maybe like 6 years, I was able to exercise what I studied in school, and up to this day, I've been working on the IT field for more than 12, 13 years now here in the United States. So I'm super grateful to have what I have, and I don't want to lose this. Uh, there is a feeling in me that we, as a country, need to unite, come together, and then just stand our ground to defend this. Right? This is what makes us who we are. And I'm gonna read something that I was reading. It's just the Declaration of Independence, and just in this first paragraph says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain un, unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what I defend, right? This is what I believe, and then this is what they teach you when you get a citizenship. This is what I got when I became a citizen. Um, so let's stand for liberty. Let's stand for freedom. Let's stand for pursuit of happiness from everyone, and let's celebrate July 4th as we should, right? Um, and I tell you something else. You might say there's hate on this country. There's division. There's a separation. But as a brown man, I tell you that I've been loved. I've never been discriminated. I've never been pointed at. I've never been, judged by the color of my skin or my accent. I never been made fun of from anyone. Uh, but I've been called names by Hispanic people when I speak my English, my broken English, and some. I remember like back in the day, it was like 2001 or 2000, and I was trying to learn the language, and I remember Hispanic friends calling me a white wannabe, right? Because I was trying to learn some English, and that was not the case. I was trying to pursue happiness. I was trying to pursue a better life, and in order for me to do that and just get what I wanted to get, uh, I needed the English language, right? So now my family and I will live in Winter Springs, Florida, and we've been here for 4 or 5 years, maybe like 5 years now, and we go into a church that is mostly have white members, and maybe like 95% or more. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be celebrating July 4th with two families that are white, and there's nothing more beautiful to actually see that we are able to love each other without a problem. Yes, you might have disagreements, and I'm not talking anything political here, but what makes the United States is not their political point of views. That's not what it makes it. It's its people. And, my neighbors, love them well, serve them well, treat them with respect. And I've never been treated, with disrespect anywhere. From, Somerville, New Jersey, traveling to more than 20 states around the United States, I've never been set apart or pushed apart because of who I am as an individual. So defend that. I love that. Encourage people to do that same thing. I think there's room for us to like get out of these stupid games that we're playing right now, and then just live freely and then love each other well. So now I tell you that I will celebrate tomorrow with very much appreciation, um, and just keep loving uh, the land that actually God has provided for us, and then just love everyone that comes from different parts of the world to live here. So that's all I have to say. Kids, if you're watching this 15, 20 years from now, remember that Daddy loves you a lot, and just keep loving God above all things. All right, God bless you, and God bless America too. God bless our country. Take care.